Hey, I know it's not the 18th anymore. It's the 19th, but this is the captain's log for the 18th. I might have another one going up tomorrow to make up for the difference in day there. Sorry about that. I am embarrassed to admit that I, in fact, broke down and had more than 2 beers last night. I only had 5 beers, but that's like half of what I was drinking previously. And of course, I suffered with an incredible and astonishing hangover from 5 drinks. It just seems weird, but yeah, it was terrible this morning. But taught me an important lesson. When your tolerance is down, then you're gonna pay for every drink you have. So maybe even less enthused about breaking my beer fast anytime soon. Such as it is, I do have this episode today which I recorded last night, talking to Elliot briefly in our Get to Know the One of Us crew series. So why don't you take a look at that?
Elliot! Everybody loves Elliot.
Well, I don't know, but I'm working on it.
You're doing pretty well. You just got married.
Got that bling going on.
You just got back from your honeymoon.
Yes, I did.
You went to Vegas.
It was a fun time.
You went to what, like the Painted Desert or some shit?
Yeah,
out there?
we went from, we flew into Albuquerque and then went to Santa Fe, then to Arizona, then to Vegas. We did a road trip. It was a lot of fun.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's the coolest thing that happened other than getting phone numbers from hookers on the street of Vegas?
That was hilarious because my wife, that's really cool to say, she was like, she didn't believe that was like a thing. And I was like, no, it's Vegas. They just hand those out. And so we walked up in the strip and I was like, yeah, that's that guy. That's his job. He just hands out cards. The coolest thing we did, we went to this Japanese spa in Santa Fe called 10,000 Ways. Mm-hmm. That place is amazing. It is like, if there is a heaven, that is now a part of my idea of heaven. It's one of the best places I've ever been in my life. It was just great.
That sounds pretty cool, dude. All right, so where are you from originally?
I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. My entire family besides me works for an oil company. Like my dad's an engineer, my sister's an engineer, my mom's an accountant, my sister's an accountant, so everybody else lives in Houston.
So it's kind of weird that you're a black sheep for being a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole working in a nonprofit thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a lawyer that does it that does okay, but doesn't make regular lawyer money. So they're like, "What's wrong? You seem broken."
I was actually at your wedding with your whole family there, and it was kind of amusing to me that like both they and you were outing yourself as the weird one in the family.
Oh, my dad.
But that wasn't because you wanted to be a lawyer; it's because you like anime and shit.
Yeah, my dad's like, I feel like when I was born, because my dad's a much more of a regular, like traditional guy. I feel like when I was born, he like looked at me like, "What do I do with you? Like you're just different." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's weird." Ah.
You're not that different. I mean, you're different from your dad, I guess.
I did a Firefly quote in my wedding.
Yeah, that's true. And you had a Japanese anime groom's cake, which was kind of awesome.
A Totoro cake.
Yeah, that was very awesome. I was impressed.
I still have the Totoro in our freezer.
Nice.
It's all just fondant and cake. I'm gonna eat Totoro tonight. That sounds weird.
What was the moment that obviously you're a big geek?
Yeah.
Like me. What was the moment you do you remember the moment you kind of made peace with that, where you're like, this is who I am?
No, that's a great question. I sort of made peace with that like really early. Like I had a rough middle school where it just was a rough time for me, and I didn't have many friends when I was in like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And one of the great things about that is you force yourself to sort of make peace with who you are. So you just sort of go, look, this is who I am. I like this stuff, and it sort of works out great because the people who either like it too hang out with you, and the people who don't mind that you like it are awesome people. Because like my best friend, my best man, he doesn't like near the geek stuff I like, but he just sort of goes, I like that you like it, and you don't really take shit about it. Like if people give you shit about it, you just sort of go, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's like I drink my beer with ice because
that you deserve to get shit about.
But here's the thing: I'm gonna drink the same amount of alcohol, but it's the one drink that people are like, you can't drink with ice. It's like, look, if I want to taste the beer that day, I don't drink with ice. But if it's a hot day, I want some ice in my beer.
So putting ice in your beer is like putting oranges on lasagna. It makes no sense.
It keeps your beer cool.
No.
No.
You should get your beer cold because it comes out cold of a cold place.
No, but I didn't really fully make peace with me being a geek until about my 2nd year of law school. My law school friends, I met some really, really cool people. In law school, you go through the wars. So, like, you are close with these people who you probably wouldn't be close with otherwise, but they just were like, Elliot, we love that you're a geek. And these are, like, really, like, cool, traditionally cool people. And they're like, no, you be a geek and we're cool with that. And so you just got to find the right people to hang out with. Anybody who's telling you, you got to like this, that, or the other, they're not worth your time because at the end of the day, it's you that has to live your life. And you can't go through your life thinking, well, I gotta like this, this, and this because these people will like me. Those are the wrong people to hang out with.
So, I mean, unless you're a pedophile or something, in which case everybody else is right and you are wrong.
Then you are wrong. You are definitely wrong.
All right, well, let's go to 10 questions. Okay. Oh, actually, first, let me ask you, what's your favorite anime of all time?
Oh, I mean, you talk about movie or TV?
Both.
Okay, well, favorite movie is Princess Mononoke.
Cool.
By Hayao Miyazaki. That is, but a close number 2 is Boy and the Beast by Mamoru Hosoda. That is a great movie too. But my favorite anime series, that is hard. You know, it's such a cliche, but honestly, the series that I will go back to and watch, just because it has such a great premise, but it goes downhill so fast.
Evangelion?
No. Is Sword Art Online?
Yeah, I never heard of it.
It's this. It came out.
Can't be that big of a cliche. I've never heard of it.
Well, it's really popular these days, but it starts off with this premise that these people in 2020, there's this new VR game where it plugs into your nervous system, and they call it full dive technology. Mm-hmm. But the guy who makes it to where if you try to unplug, you die. And if you die in the game, you die in real life. It's basically horror movie rules. But it's such a great premise, and they explore a little bit in the first 5 episodes what it might be, but then it goes downhill fast. But the premise is so great that it's still my favorite. Cool.
All right, 10 questions. What's your favorite word?
Favorite word. Do you want to? I'm sorry. I'm just I'm not trying to lawyer this. I just want to ask the confines of the question. Do you want to say favorite word for me to use or favorite word for its meaning?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I'll give you my favorite word for its meaning would be understanding, because it's the root of everything. If you can understand somebody and you can, even if you don't like them, if you can at least understand their motivation and what makes them tick, you can take a lot of the hurt out of things that might happen to you.
Yeah.
So it's like if somebody does something wrong that affects you, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's not malice, it's stupidity. And it's not even intentional. So if you can just understand and have yourself be understood, that would be the best thing. But in terms of favorite word, just for how it sounds, it's contributory.
That's a good one.
Because it's just such a great sounding word.
It is. Yeah. Least favorite word?
I tell you, my least favorite word. I tell you what my least favorite word is. My least favorite word is conservative. And just because the way it's used is used as this thing to mean, well, I'm a serious person, I'm conservative. It's like, well, you can't just use it as a bludgeon. It's great to be conservative if you really thought it through. But if you're conservative just because you don't like certain groups of people, then I don't know about you.
Fair enough.
But again, if you're just conservative because you like the policies, great. But you got to really think through that.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Well, creatively, anything that is well designed, well thought out art, I love that so much. It's one of the reasons I love anime. Is the best anime like Summer Wars or the Ghibli stuff. It's all, or in just animation in general, like the Disney stuff, and surprisingly a lot of the DreamWorks stuff lately. If you can see stuff that has been well thought out, and every part has been painstakingly put together so well that it's like you're looking at a world. The guy who Kaza Ogo, he does the background matte paintings for the Ghibli movies, and just I'll put his matte paintings on in the background with the Ghibli music when I'm working, just because that's one of my favorite creative things. And then spiritually, the turns me on spiritually is the idea of redemption. I don't talk about it too much. I'm Catholic and I don't want to be preachy, but I like the idea of saying you could do something wrong, but you can be redeemed. And then emotionally, my favorite thing emotionally, it's the reason I like a lot of the media I like, is the idea of self-actualization. Saying, I have discovered something about myself. So one of my favorite movies right now is The Boy and the Beast. And it's about this beast, Kumatetsu, who figures out, I may be a slob, but I'm still a good guy, and I can use parts of me that are good to help this other person.
Fair enough. What turns you off?
God, violence for violence sake? Gore for just gore's sake?
Man, I would list that on the previous question.
It was just I don't mean if it's violence and it's mega ultra violence Dread, that's cool. I like that stuff. But I'm talking about Hostile. Things where there's
torture porn.
Yeah, torture porn. It's you're not trying to say anything with that. You're not trying to have any big meaning. And you don't always have to have a big meaning, but don't be exploited. Here, thing turns me off is exploitation. That would be the better answer.
What's your favorite curse word?
Oh, it's not a curse word, but I have a phrase. My dad uses it, and it was in Remember the Titans. It's something that all black, not all black men, but a lot of black men from Louisiana use. It's you're overcooking my grits. And it's just basically like, you are testing my last fucking nerve, and this is a warning.
Grits just mean that much to people from Louisiana.
Well, grits basically mean your balls. You're like, you're overcooking my grits.
What sound or noise do you love?
I tell you, one of my favorite sounds is when it's the early morning, and I don't have to go to work, I don't have to do anything, and it starts raining. That is the best.
Funny, like different variations on the sound of rain falling has been one of the more popular answers.
It's soothing. It's amazing.
What sound or noise do you hate?
I hate the sound of email notifications, because that usually, if I get like a bunch of them, it usually means some shit's on fire and I gotta take care of it.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would love to write.
Okay. Like, write anime or
not so much anime. I mean, if something got turned into anime, that'd be great. But I would love to just write short stories that would, I feel like one of the things that you should do in your life, if you have the opportunity to, is create something that can help other people. And I'm not saying I've been through I'm not saying like I'm some, because I'm not, but I've learned a few lessons I would love to do it like some other great authors do, is use fantasy as a way to tell lessons and stories. Mm-hmm. So like I've been toying around with an idea based sort of a little bit off the idea of Doctor Who's Regeneration, that we're all different people through the course of our life. And I'd love to tell a story eventually about different versions of the same person inside that person's head, and trying to figure out, well, this is new person that he's turned 39 now, and this is the 39th person, and we don't like that guy. And you got like persons 1 through 10 who are just kids, and you got the persons 20 through 30 who are just dumbass 20-year-olds who are just getting drunk all the time, and just telling stories like that would be really cool.
What profession would you not like to do?
Oh, profession I would not like to do. Honestly, anything that you just can't be in touch with. Anything where you have to do something rote all day, every day, the same exact thing. You can't be empathetic. You can't think and do critical thinking. I just wouldn't want to do paperwork all day.
And lastly, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would love to hear God say, you can, I've never, honestly, and this is really cheesy, I would love to hear God say, hey, your grandmother's waiting on you.
That's sweet, though. My favorite answer, I think it was Chris Herman, who was like, I want to hear God say, you were supposed to be here decades ago.
It's like that, and everybody you don't like isn't here.
Exactly.
That's so petty.
Elliot, anything you want to add to say to fans out there before we finish? Defining Elliot statements?
The only thing I would say is, to go back to the beginning, do what you like to do. Unless you're a pedophile. Yeah, don't do it that way. But
or a serial killer.
Or a serial killer.
Yeah.
But if what you're doing doesn't harm anybody, if people think you're weird for doing it, fuck them. Do what you want to do. It's your life. Just live your own life.